but it's not.
I shouldn't drink coffee. Good evening, you're very welcome to the last daily rundown of the week with me, Fiona Fox. Now tonight we'll be discussing fireworks, junior doctors, cigarettes, and we'll be having a conversation about something we can't have a conversation about. So my guests have been warned about this when we're all a bit nervous. Later on we're going to have a chat and some music, and some music from Jamie Borrowdale as well, so you have that to look forward to. But before all of that, let me welcome tonight's guests who are going to supply the daily rundown with insight and attitude. Is that a bit ambitious?
Good luck with that.
We'll see. Right, he was here last night, he's here tonight, and he's going to be here for you all night long. It's Mr. Stephen Armstrong.
Yes, good evening, Fiona.
You knew I meant you, did you?
I did, yes. Well, I was here last night, and I don't remember seeing either of you two, so by a process of elimination, the Hercule Poirot.
Have you just been here all night, just lying drunk on the sofa?
Yeah. Well, that's. You know me so well, Drew.
This, despite having just met.
Yes.
He's
Very
intuitive
like
that way. This is what we need on the couch.
Yeah.
So you kind of introduced yourself. It's our lovely presenter and documentary maker, Mr. Drew Tosh. Hello there.
Hello.
How are you, Drew?
I'm fine. I'm a stand-in.
You're a stand-in.
I'm
Come
a
on.
last minute.
No, it was first the worst, second the best.
I don't know what that means, but I like the sound of it.
That's the rhyme, guys.
Yes.
Both you guys remember this.
What do you think you said earlier, sucking with petrol or something?
I said no. Now, when you get going with something, when you know everything finally comes together, you say, now we're sucking diesel. You know, now I guess it's the engine's going, I'm assuming. I don't know.
I think it's an Irish thing. It's maybe the same as
I'm
cooking
full
with
of
gas.
these. What is, yeah, that sounds
So I'm
similar.
actually a little gassy tonight, so it'll probably all work out fine.
Sigh. Don't forget, you can get involved with the show as well, not in these terms that Drew's laid out. We're as interactive as you like. You can get in on the conversation on Twitter at The Daily Rundown, or at the very least, you can give us a follow and keep up to date with all the ramblings, that kind of thing. We might even follow you back, so you have that to look forward to as well. Now let's go to straight to our first news story of the evening. Egypt Air has said the plane which disappeared from its radars had been flying at 37,000 feet shortly after entering Egyptian airspace. Families of the people who were on board face an anxious wait for information as the first details of the crash's victims emerge. The Airbus A320 had turned 90 degrees left and then a 360 degree turn to the right before disappearing from the radar. Egypt's civil aviation minister has said the possibility of a terror attack is stronger than a technical failure, and French President Francois Hollande confirmed that the plane had crashed and said no theory could be ruled out. But very recently, just before we came into the show, reports emerged that debris found in Greece was not from a plane. So lots of mixed reports coming from this one again. Guys, we kind of had this with the last incident, and so it's always very worrying, and I think when we don't have a very clear picture of what happened, those first kind of reports can sort of cause a bit of panic among the public, can't they? I mean, obviously, have you been following this story today?
Yeah, I think what always comes out of this is, does it put you off flying? Does it make you scared?
That's a big question, isn't it?
And it's sort of like, well, it shouldn't, because then whatever's responsible, whatever wins, and you've just got to keep on doing what you normally do. I mean, it wouldn't put me off. I'm hardly ever in an airplane, so I'm thrilled if I even get off the ground, so it wouldn't bother me one iota, but I know it would put a lot of other people off who are frequent flyers or, scared to fly in normal circumstances. They just don't like to fly. So, it is a very easy target for people to if it was a terrorist attack, they're trying to disrupt the day-to-day running of everything. It is the obvious place to do it, I guess.
But we're led to believe it's not an easy target. Obviously, this is why you get to the airport, we're all a bit impatient that we're in these queues, we're held up. You think you've put everything into your security basket. They're telling you to take your shoes off, take your belt off. One airport makes you do one thing, the other makes you do another. So because of all this, we're led to believe this just shouldn't be happening. We feel. I think so. When it does, it's a big sort of shakedown again. The fear just comes straight out.
Well, I think
panic.
The fear seems to be a natural reaction. There is I believe the reports are that it's more likely to be a device. There's a US.
As it stands, it's more likely to be a terrorist attack.
Exactly.
Fault.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, my natural reaction is to look for any kind of humour in the situation. And if I hear that the plane took a jump to the left and then a turn to the right, maybe we've just have a time warp kind of situation, and that essentially it's going to come out. We're going to get Frankenfurter. It's all going to be down. You know, I just think that we're worried, and it's good to be worried. But let's. I mean, the people who are involved and the families, we have to be concerned for those. But at the moment, it is quite easy in this current climate to sort of say it's this or it's the other. As you say, before we came on the show, the latest suggestion was that the debris found in the sea is not from an aircraft. Now, that doesn't mean that the aircraft hasn't gone down. It seems to be that at the moment there is a lot of information with no kind of logical chain to it. So there's lots of different pieces of information that people are grasping onto. But the basis of it is the family of these people who took off on a plane, and they still don't know really where their relatives are.
For a while, they're probably not going to find out for at least a few days, or hopefully not too long. But yeah, it's just, do you think that maybe in the aftermath of an event like this, and sadly we have had a few over the last couple of years even, should there be a different style of reporting maybe? Or like you said, Stephen, we have a piece of information come from one website and then suddenly something else comes out. And then obviously social media has been such a game changer. With as far as we have people on the scenes, reporting as well. Should there be more kind of sensitivity around that, or do you think?
Yeah, definitely, but the trouble is there never will be, because nothing will get in the way of a story, and all these different outlets, the sadness or the irritation about all that is they're just doing it off the cuff. They're not letting facts get in the way of a nice little bit of short film they can have on their phones or put onto social media. But I think it's also sometimes the way it is reported. It's sort of today that the headlines here were one British person was on board. And so if there had been no Brits on board, would that have been further down the news list then? Right. It's sort of like, there was a plane crash the other day or whatever, but there were no Brits on board. As if that's actually, it's not so bad then, but they do seem to highlight the nationalities more than anything about the fact that people have died, and that shouldn't matter where they're from, But
that's how relevant it is to an individual nation.
Yeah, the report is a bit strange on these things, but I always find it weird, when they say it went off radar. In this day and age of technology,
how can that happen?
How can that actually happen?
Do you find that worrying though?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like there's a Bermuda Triangle out there still, where they just go off and they're never sort of seen again. The next thing they're sort of dredged out of the ocean like 2 weeks later or something. It just seems strange that, again, because of social media and everything that's around, a plane can just go off course and vanish, and no one seems to know quite what happened. And
it's the not knowing. It seems to be that what causes the worst panic, and it doesn't it, is a mixture of exactly what you just said there, not knowing, or being kind of drip fed pieces of information that don't make sense to each other, and it sometimes takes a while before a bigger picture and the actual story is reported accurately. In the meantime, obviously there's been a panic, and the suggestion that this might be a terrorist attack, and also the fact that it has unfortunately come from Paris soon after the Paris attacks. Do you think that's going to cause its own separate kind of set of problems?
Well, I think we currently live in a world where there's this heightened sense of security. We've had this incident at the weekend. We had the football incident of the Old Trafford sort of scare. But that again, it seemed to be that was in a football stadium. We remembered the Paris attacks. It is just very easy. There seems to be a lot of people on edge, and there's a desire to know. Naturally, you want to find out what's happened to this plane, but in the vacuum and lack of any factual knowledge, all these pieces of information are thrown in, and as you say, is the people who just want to know where their families are. We can sit here safe in the knowledge of debating where this plane is and whether we should do this or that, but there are people involved who want to know. They're like, well, it's all great that we've got all this information, but all I want to know is where my husband, my wife, my brother, my sister, where these people are, and we don't have that knowledge, and it is scary that we have you know, in a world where some people are feared that the government is tracking you everywhere you go, that we can have these huge tin cans in the air that just disappear.
It's ironic.
Describe it as tin cans, Stephen. That might be the final nail in the coffin kind of people flying. But I think as it stands, though, statistically, even though we've had these events over the last few years, they haven't, flying and travelling, that hasn't actually taken a hit, though. So even though we do have these few weeks of mass panic, why don't we actually see an effect on, you know, plane bookings, flight bookings and that kind of thing? Is it because your first point, Drew, was that just life kind of goes on, you have to keep on going on, it's a headline.
Also, you're never going to stop people going on holiday.
But we about those staycations and that. Because maybe the other point is that somebody only came out relatively recently and said that there was more actual plane hijackings and terrorist attacks in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't the same kind of level of media.
Exactly. It's just everywhere now. Everything's reported and misreported, and you don't have to be in the media to do that now. As I say, anyone can just take a little pic on their phone and upload it. So that, it is. But I mean, I don't know. It's sort of strange because I think it's good in a lot of ways that we just keep going, because what else can you do? I remember when the Arndale got hit back in the 90s.
Yeah.
I didn't live here at the time, but I came down the week after to visit a friend, and we went, just sort of looked past and stuff, and it was literally only a few days afterwards. But some of the shops just in the vicinity at the bottom were open, and people were going in shopping, because you'll never stop people shopping, no matter what happens.
You'll never stop people going on holidays.
Just keep on going. You have to, really.
What else can we do? So you said it wouldn't sort of stop you, Stephen. Would it stop you travelling, do you think, these kind of news? No,
I mean, I think, I don't really, for me, I don't kind of think, is this gonna be a dangerous situation? I don't understand how planes work, so I just trust that it works. So I'm just going to get on them. I don't understand how it works. For me, my basic knowledge of how science works is that I should not be able to fly, but somebody who's trained and has done some exams and they've sat some courses and they all seem to have their tick boards whenever I'm there. I just try not to think about it. I wouldn't go out my door if I didn't think about that.
Thanks very much for that, guys, and hopefully we have some more news or information on that story soon. Thank you. That's our first half gone already. We'll be back in just a few minutes with lots more news and a very special music guest. See you soon. I'm around a bit late there.